Hi, I'm Evelyn. Glad you're here. In this video, I'll conduct a small experiment with an AI chat assistant. Previously, the result wasn't as expected, and my subscribers suggested revisiting this topic with a freer format. We will see how my manual analysis approach differs from the tool's suggestions. It's not a competition, more an observation. Interesting to watch which decisions each side offers and how one task can be approached differently. If you are interested in such an experiment, stay tuned. We'll analyze examples calmly and without overload. Let's see what conclusions we can draw during the process. By the way, if you want to see how such situations are analyzed live, check out my community. The link is in the description or pinned comment. There, I share my approach and observations I have developed over years of practice. Everything is simple, calm format, step-by-step breakdowns, and the ability to ask questions along the way. If this topic speaks to you, I'll be glad if you visit. Now, let's move on to the experiment. Alright guys, let's start with our GPT chat. First, we pick our team. And that's it. No extra tools will be used. Let's see how the chat handles it. Alright, let's go, friends. So, we're told to go down. Well, alright. I see the movement has reached an area where there was previous activity. Often reversals happen in such zones. Now there is a reaction visible, which from experience might lead to a downward movement. I think the chat was right here. Okay, this was obvious to me. Let's see what's next. So, GPT decides we need to go up. All right, let's follow. I observe a steady movement in a certain direction. After a short pause and a return to the previously noted zone, the movement started going up again. Such situations often indicate continuation, so the chat's choice looks quite logical. And that's exactly what happened. Moving on. So, let's see. Down. Okay, as you say, great GPT chat. Up to this point, the movement was upward, but then it sharply slowed down. Such a stop without continuation might indicate waning interest in further growth. In these cases, a pullback often starts. This is the basis for the chosen direction. Has this robot gotten smarter? Let's continue. All right, we need to go up. Well, let's not argue with it. Wow, that's something, friends. Wow, I already started to believe in it, and look what it did. Though I had some doubts at first glance at the screen, this is some kind of intuition level, friends. Before we continue, I want to say a few words. In my community, you can find not only useful information, but also what is especially important, watch how specific approaches are applied in practice. I share what I have built over years, step by step, through personal experience and observations. This isn't something complicated or hard, rather it's the foundation that helps better understand how analysis works and what to focus on when working with data. I recommend this format for those just starting with the topic. I try to explain clearly so it's comfortable to join the process without rush and overload. If you've long wanted to understand how everything works, now is a good time to just check it out. The community link is in the description or pinned comment. It's all open, you can join whenever convenient. Meanwhile, let's continue. I'll show you one of the approaches I use myself. So, lost the desire to continue. Okay, today I'm 50-50-50, so let's go till the end. So, going to the bottom. Okay. Well, we didn't really go up much. Okay, now it's my turn. Analyzing from the side seems easier. Now I'll get to work. All right, I have the same input, keep 30. The only thing I'll change is I'll add helpers, MACD and RSI. The first helps determine when the direction might change. The second indicates when the movement has gone too far up or down. In such situations, reversal often happens. Also, let's pick the team. All right, I'm ready. Now it's time to take on the chat. After a prolonged decline, the movement changed direction. The tools I used started showing signals of reversal. Lines began rising, and one helper bounced off its lower zone. All this points to a possible continuation of growth. Okay. Well, not a bad start. Let's continue. Moving on. I see a steady upward movement. The rise is smooth, without sharp jumps. This often indicates stability in direction. Such situations can last quite a while. There are no signs yet that the movement is ready to change, so up we go! Moving on carefully. Next trade. I continue moving with the main trend. There was an attempt to turn the situation upward, but the helpers I rely on didn't confirm it. Pressure remained and the movement continued downward, so I kept going in the same direction. Okay guys, I remember where the chat slipped up, and so I'm a little worried. After all, emotions matter in this game, but no worries, let's focus. What do we see here? As I noted at the start, the movement keeps its direction. The scenario remains the same. The lines of my helper confidently point upward, and the chart continues to rise. No reason to change the plan yet, so I continue acting according to the chosen logic. A cool hat is indeed important. Now, only the final of this competition remains. Alright, let's look here. You know what? I'm going down. There was an attempt to move upward, but it quickly faded. The reaction in the opposite direction was stronger. A pattern is forming that, from experience, might indicate a change in direction. The tools also started to change direction, confirming the general sentiment, so... Yes, baby. Even though I've been doing this for a long time, competitions like this, even with a chat, make me a bit nervous. But it's great. After all, I wouldn't trust AI with such a complex task, because if it makes a mistake, it loses nothing, unlike me. How do you like what you see? If you want to go a bit further, I invite you to the format currently running inside my community. We call it the educational contest. It's a calm way to get into the topic, especially if you're just starting out. What awaits you there? Live streams where I show how I approach analysis and explain my logic step by step. Everything is visual without overload or complex formulas. Structured presentation to understand how the process builds and what to pay attention to. A space where you can ask questions. I'm regularly in touch with participants. I remember what it's like to be at the start of the journey. Back then, I really wanted to find a format where everything was explained calmly and clearly. Now I try to create exactly such an atmosphere, especially for those taking first steps. Participation is open. If this approach resonates with you, follow the link in the description or pinned comment and write contest. I'll explain how it's organized and where to start.